What is up, everybody? My name is Carlos, and today I will share with you some tips and tricks if you are traveling this holiday season. And just for reference, I own the Ioniq 2022 Ioniq 5 all-wheel drive SE model, and we are gonna, oh my God, it is so cold. I'm going to be sharing some tips and tricks, and the very first one that I want to mention that I'm gonna say inside because the wind is killing me. The first one I want to mention, check for campaigns and check for recalls. There was a recent one with the ICCU. I know there's been at least like 3 different ones with that module. But yeah, just check. Here's the website. This is a Hyundai official website. Check if you have any open campaigns or recalls and go ahead and set an appointment to get that dealt with. You also want to make sure that your car is fully updated with the software. To check that, you can also check this website from Hyundai. Once you check which car you have, because it will have several different cars. Basically, you're going to go to Setup, General, and then under Software Info and Update, you're just going to compare this software version here. So we're at, I'm just going to read the last few numbers, 240822. So that is the current software. And again, you can check that in your car and online. When you go to the website, you will see a whole list. So again, make sure that your car is fully updated software-wise, and make sure there's no open recalls or campaigns. If there are, it's probably best to see if you can get that done right away. And while you're already checking your car software and the recalls, also go ahead and make sure that you don't have any updates for your Hyundai BlueLink app. If you are a BlueLink user, just make sure that's updated through your Apple App Store or Google Play Store, just because you want to make sure you have everything up to date.
Charging started.
All right, let's talk about heating up your car. It is the winter time. Depending where you are, it could be very cold. And as you know, if you have the BlueLink app and you are a BlueLink member, you can go ahead and click Climate Start at any point and go ahead and do one of the presets of winter. If you want to make your own preset, you just click on the top where it says Climate Start without presets and kind of set up your own settings. There aren't much settings. You just have front defroster and then heated features like rear defroster, side mirrors, steering wheel, and that's it. I am a little disappointed there is no heated seats here, because it would be nice to come here with some toasted buns. The sun is just like right in my face. But let's say you're not a BlueLink member, or you don't have the app, or you don't want to deal with any of that. What are your options about heating the car? It depends on what scenario you're in. For example, currently I'm charging the car, and because I'm charging the car, I can literally leave the car on, have the heat, and just relax. Now, let's say I was not charging and this car's in my driveway or however the scenario, but again, you're not charging. In that case, you're gonna have to go to EV. You're gonna have to click on the settings button here, and you'll have to go to utility mode. Within utility mode, you wanna turn that on. It won't let me turn it on now because I am charging. You would wanna click this anytime you're not charging, but you want to keep the car on, whether it's for the defrosters, whether it's to warm up the car, or even in scenarios where, let's say, your partner goes grocery shopping and you just want to kind of lay down in the car and stay in the car. Turn this on always, because what this does is it lets the car know that you're not going to be driving it, you're just leaving it on, so it is going to charge up the 12-volt battery, so that way your battery doesn't die. So these next 2 tips may seem obvious, but I just want to make sure everybody knows. So let's say you're on the road, you have your heat going, but you're running out of juice, and you're on the way to the fast charger, but you're getting a little bit nervous, or what they call range anxiety, right? Well, you can turn off the heat and it'll increase your range. However, now you're cold. Well, you can actually turn on the heated seats, and that will not affect your range at all. So you can have both heated seats on and your range stays the same. But again, that's just a good tip if you want to save some range. Turn off your heat, turn on the heated seats, and you're good to go. The other tip I was going to suggest, if it is snowing, if you hold down drive mode, you do have a snow mode. Now, what does snow mode do, you might ask? From my understanding, it adjusts the power, throttle response, and traction control to improve the grip. And it's basically like you're telling your car, hey, I'm about to drive in some slippery weather, help me out. So you want to put snow mode if it is snowing, and then to get out of snow mode, just click drive mode, and there you are. All right, so you're gonna be on the road a lot and you're gonna go to a lot of fast chargers. So let's talk about preconditioning. Very scary. And before we get into it, let's talk about what is preconditioning and why you need it. So preconditioning is basically getting the battery conditioned at an optimal temperature. So when you do use a fast charger, it can accept that high kilowatt charge. A simple way to think about it is basically before you do any type of like exercise, like recently I ran a 5K, you want to get yourself warmed up, right? You want to stretch, you want to bounce around, you want to, have a drink or whatever. You need to get warmed up because you're going to do some fast-paced exercising. Now imagine if you didn't warm up, imagine if you didn't stretch. It's going to take you a hot minute to kind of get into that rhythm. But if you, precondition or, prepare for that sporting event or whatever you're going to do, then, you're going to have that rhythm a lot faster instead of, hey, I didn't train for this, I didn't warm up, and now I'm like struggling in the beginning. And then later on, you start to feel your body warm up and then you go faster. You're basically just warming up your battery so it can intake a high kilowatt charge. Well, how do you make sure that your preconditioning is on in your car? Well, you want to go to EV, click on settings, and then there it is, battery preconditioning mode. You just want to make sure that is active. Mine was active. Now, before you ask, yes, I know on the BlueLink app, it shows preconditioning off. I think that's a bug. It's been like that for a very long time. All right, now that your preconditioning is on, what's the next step? Basically, you have to go ahead and go to your maps, and this has to be on the onboard navigation. You want to find the closest charger to you, so you can go to EV charging stations. I already have my favorite set here, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then go ahead and click on start guidance, and there you go. Now this is kind of like the controversial and tricky part. It doesn't start right away. You have to kind of drive towards the charger first, and then it will activate. Once it's activate, it will either show you one or two symbols, either a snowflake or a little coil, and that's how you know the car is preconditioning. Now there are two caveats to this. Number one, you have to be above 20%. You cannot precondition if your car is under 20% or at 20%. Why is that a thing? I don't know. That's just how Hyundai does it. I believe they are more conservative because preconditioning does take some of your range out. So I think they're thinking, okay, well, if you're at 20%, you're already kind of, low battery. So they're thinking, okay, you can't precondition anything above 20. I would argue that's probably when you need to precondition it the most because you're on the way to the charger and you want to make sure you get a fast charge. But I understand what their thought process is. So again, you do have to, you see right there's the snowflake. So there's the snowflake. Again, yours might be a snowflake or it could be like a little whiny coil. That means the car is preconditioning. It is gonna have a small impact on your range. As you can see, it just went down. But other than that, there's no other message that says preconditioning car, which I think would probably be best if it can give you some kind of like label, or even on here, just say like precondition started or something. But you just have that tiny little symbol there. Just to kind of go over preconditioning one more time. Make sure it's turned on in the settings. Make sure your battery's above 20%, and then use the map onboard navigation and select a fast charger. Doing all three things will ensure, hopefully, that your preconditioning will work. And again, don't be worried if it doesn't activate right away. Sometimes you have to start driving and get closer to the charger, and then it'll turn on in itself. Just kind of look out for either the snowflake or the coil. All right, speaking of navigation, I would avoid using the onboard navigation as much as possible. Obviously, like I said, you have to use it for the preconditioning, but that's the only time I would ever use it. So what I would recommend using is a better route planner. I'm sure you've heard of this app. I'm sure everybody talks about it, but it's just so good because it shows you every charger available. It gives you details. It routes really accurate. So I would use a better route planner for planning the things out. And I would also use PlugShare to know more information about the charging stations. Now you can also use this for trips as well. I've just never tried it myself, but you can also do that. But what I like about PlugShare is that if you want to look at the charger, you can look at the different photos that people take. I like PlugShare because it has photos, because it has more details. If you set up your account on EVgo, then you can do plug and charge, which means you don't have to use the app at all. You don't have to use the touchscreen. You can just plug in your car and you're good to go. So I highly recommend EVgo if there are some in your area. And then obviously we have the most popular option. We have Electrify America. One big tip, if you go in the Electrify America app and you click on the charger you're going to go to, This will tell you which ones are in use currently. This is a very accurate, or at least recently it's been very accurate. I know it hasn't been all the time, but most recently it's been very accurate. It tells you which ones are in use, which ones are broken, tells you the pricing and everything, support information. So these are the 4 I would recommend: Electrify America, EVgo, PlugShare, and a better route planner. An honorable mention is this ChargeWay app. You can also plan out a trip using this app. I haven't used it much, but the 1 or 2 times that I have used it, it was a really great experience. All right, now you might be like, Carlos, when can I charge at the Tesla Supercharger just to make things so much easier? Well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait a little bit. So it sounds like January 15th is the confirmed date where we're all gonna be able to charge at our Tesla Supercharger. So just kind of keep that in mind this holiday season. You're not gonna be able to, but starting next month, which is very soon, we will be able to do that. Another thing I wanna say, just in case, I would always suggest bringing a portable battery for your 12-volt battery. And this is, you can literally buy any of them. I mean, honestly, my mom bought me this one from a grocery store, from Lidl, which is, I guess, like the sister for Aldi's. She literally bought me this ultimate speed little charger, and it works. It works perfectly fine, and you don't have to buy like a fancy one, like $100 one off Amazon. You can literally buy any of these and they will work fine because it is just a normal 12-volt battery. What I would also recommend, and this is completely optional, but buying a adapter for Tesla slow charging, so the level 2, level 1 Tesla chargers. I would recommend buying an adapter because let's say you stay at a hotel and only the Tesla chargers are available, then this will come in clutch. So I definitely recommend buying this if you are traveling far. All right, so that's really all the tips and tricks I have for you for traveling this holiday season. I won't be doing any traveling personally. Hopefully you've learned something. I think it's just safe to kind of make this video for everybody who just bought an Ioniq 5 or maybe first time doing a road trip. And I've seen a lot of comments like on Facebook and Reddit where they're just like, you know, why didn't anyone tell me, you know, X, Y, and Z? So I'm here trying to tell you everything, trying to give you my tips when traveling for the holiday season. And if you have any tips and tricks, please leave it in the comment section below. If you learn anything, please let me know. I'm trying to be as helpful as possible. With all that said, I will catch you guys next week. I'm actually going to the Ioniq testing facility next week with the Ioniq guy and Kyle from Out of Spec Reviews. But anyways, hopefully you learned something. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment if you like. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.